Yeah, so let's say we're going to make the blacksmith for this anvil. So adding NPCs to the town, because at the moment, as you can see, it's completely empty. As for the blue is the navigation as to where artificial intelligence agents and stuff can walk around. So yeah, we're not going to have them walking under the ocean. That's fine. So if I click off the navigation, you can see all the blue is gone. If I go back on navigation, you can see the blue's back. So when you are setting agents to walk around certain areas, you want to make sure it's somewhere on the blue. And yeah, for something like this, it's not a big problem. We just can tweak around the colliders or the settings here and so on. So hey Siblas, do I guess I know you, or wait, you followed me a few minutes ago. I was wondering who that was. I'm not going to be looking at the chat much, just because I need to also focus on this, but I'll look every few minutes. So what we'll do first is we'll add a character. So let's... I don't know if we want to go to the Viking characters, because click on the inspector. You can see these are all more warrior based, even though we could have a warrior working on a blacksmith, but we are going to go for the... more like... we'll just stick with like a shopkeeper or something. Because he looks like more someone working on the industrial kind of... I'll keep the lighting on for now. Let me just check the scene. We have a directional light. Yep, okay. I think the character's here, so that's fine. We'll just leave that. Oh, this lady. Alright, so let's say we're going to be using the blacksmith. We're going to, let's say, put him here. And in the hierarchy, we're going to rename him to Blacksmith. We're going to go to the animations folder. And we will create a new folder. And we'll call it NPCs. And we'll create an animator controller. And we'll call this Blacksmith. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to have different kinds of blacksmiths doing different stuff, we can always, you know, call it something else like Blacksmith Raqqa or Blacksmith England, or I don't know, whatever. So if we click back on the character, you'll see he has his animator component. You'll literally just drag that into the controller, turn off root motion. It's very important to do that. You'll notice sometimes he flies off from the map, so you just bring him back with left control and left shift. If you hold it, you'll see the little white box comes up, and you just left click on the white box and it will snap to colliders in the map. So here, and just bring him up a bit. Next, we need to go to add component and add a navmesh agent. Now this is the actual AI controller, you know, how he'll be moving, how he'll be, his speed, his turning speed, acceleration, how far he'll stop from his destination, auto braking and stuff. I say we just leave that on. The radius, so we can change this now. You'll see he goes like that. If you want to be more accurate, if you turn it to 2D view and just do it like this. So we'll say something like that, and the height about there, 1.82. Go back to 3D. Seems fine. You can always tweak it if we need to. Alright, I'll just add could add the script now. So if we go, yeah, if we just start working on the script. So scripts, what's in the trader? Nothing. We will have NPCs again because we don't want this folder to get too big. So in the NPCs, we'll then have another folder, sorry, called Blacksmith, and inside here we'll just have a script and we'll call it Blacksmith. Then we'll open it up in Visual Studio and just switch the screen. Alright, here we go. Right, so let me just, there we go. Right, so we need to have target points. So I'll show you an example. If I create a 3D game object called like a cube, so I've just gone up to game object, I've gone to 3D object, and I've gone to cube. I'm now going to place that cube over here by the anvil. You can see the coordinates are here. If I move it, you can see the coordinates in the top right are moving. So what we want to do is we want to copy those XYZ coordinates, and so let me go to coding. We want to have it so we save it. So what we do is we create a public vector free, and it's going to be we'll call it the anvil lock, meaning location, and we'll have it equaling to minus 341.37 comma 48.15 comma minus 274.33. I believe it's supposed to be new vector free arguments open vector free. I haven't worked on these vector frees in a while. Let me just make sure I've got it right. So the vector free will transform. No, I think vector free is the correct. Just give me a quick sec. I mean, you can state it in a few ways, I believe, but I kind of just want it to be the simple, basic way. Pretty sure it was new vector free. Let's say I put the no, I haven't worked on these vector frees in ages. I was gonna say we just do it non-coordinate space, so we can just make a public game object and just call it anvil POS for position. This way, this is how I do it, but it's probably better to do it the coordinates way to make it a bit less messy. So when I put that, I go back to Unity and go to the Blacksmith, and we'll attach the script. So just drag that onto here. And now the anvil position will be that cube that we put. So that will be here, cube. We'll drag that onto the anvil position where it says none game object for the blacksmith script. So now we have the cube one, and we can just name that. There you go, anvil position or something. So it's easy for us to kind of know what is what. Now we'll turn off the box collider and the mesh renderer. Just keep it like that. And what we'll have is, we'll have, first of all, we'll state the nav mesh. So public nav, most important part here is we need to type in using Unity engine .ai. Bang, that's it. So now we can put nav mesh agents. So we'll just call it agent. And what we'll do now is agent.destination equals anvil position dot transform dot position. There you go. So we'll just test that. Let me just, when you save in Visual Studio, it takes a bit. There we go. Right, so if I look at the blacksmith, so we need to assign his nav mesh agent. So if we literally just drag this, let me just make sure I'm on Unity. Nope, I'm not. There we go. Back on here. So drag the nav mesh agent into the agent empty part on blacksmith script. So now that's assigned. Let's change the speed to 1.5 just because, you know, we want to experiment. There won't be any animations yet, so he'll probably just walk over in that T-pose to here. And let's see if it works. Okay. Yeah, there you go. So he walked over and he's now at the anvil, and he's like that because he hasn't got any animations, of course, in his actual system. So what we'll do, we'll just, because that looked a bit weird, we'll add a normal kind of animation to it, maybe just like an idle one for now. So if we go to his blacksmith animator, double click, it'll put you into the animator window. Now this may look weird, but it's actually really easy. So the entry is where it always starts. So imagine when you right click here and you create a state, you can see this yellow arrow. This means when the animator, its first part happens, like when the game starts, it will enter through here into this new state, which we are now going to call idle. And you see it says motion, that's where you set the animation. So open that up, type in something like idle, and we'll just have like I don't know, like strafe idle. No, we'll have standing idle or something. Just make sure it's a humanoid, so it's humanoid, and that's how the animation works. Zoom in, ticked. So now he'll always go to that animation first, and then, you know, you could create other stuff. So for now, let's just quickly see how it looks. I'm going to close the game tab because we don't want to see that. I don't want it to switch. I want it to simply stay on this. So if we watch that again, let's see if it does it correctly. Nope, it went back to the game tab. But there you go. You can see his destination. He's walking over to the anvil. So what we'll do now is we'll have it so he's moving when he starts moving, kind of thing. So we'll go back to the animator. And we'll create another state. So right click, create state empty, and we'll have this as moving. Or no, we'll have this as walking, because imagine, I don't know, the island gets raided or something, and then he wants to end up running away from the town or something. So we'll have walking. Sorry, I didn't say what I just did there. So left click on the idle, the yellow thingy, or button or state. Right click and then click make transition, and you'll have this little arrow. All you do is you just hover over this, left click, and it will attach it. You can see here in transitions it now says idle to walking. Next, we'll go to parameters, and we'll create a boolean. We'll call this is walking. We'll have on where you click on the arrow. So with the parameters, you have this little plus button here, so that's where that is. Don't worry about layers for now. We'll get into that later. Parameters. So you click on the arrow, turn off exit time as we do not need that. Go down and you'll see conditions. List is empty. Click the plus, and you'll have is walking true, or you can have it false. But we want it on true. So what happens now, if we just set our walking animation, so walk, we'll just have humanoid walk. So if you check the arrow, it will now show you. So if I click play, it will transition. So there, you can see he's idle and he starts walking. So on the arrow, that's because we have is walking is true. And if you right click that and make transition and go back to idle, on the arrow turn off exit time again, and conditions is walking, but this time we want it to go to false. So hold on, let me just bring that back down here. So now he's walking and bang, he stops walking. These are just going to be placeholder animations until, of course, you add the actual blacksmith animations. So now that we have that set and we have our parameter that we can now use in C# code, if we go back to coding, we'll now add in the public animator, so not animation but animator, and we'll just call this anim. And here we'll just have anim equals get component animator bang. So what that's saying is, on the start of the game, please can you assign anim, meaning up here, to become to ask the current game object to check its component of animator, and with the equal sign that is to set it to that, so I don't have to assign it myself on the inspector. Right, just bring that down. Right, what we'll do now is we'll have a public bool, and we'll have is walking. I mean, we might not have to actually do that. If I remember correctly, we could. So if we go into void update and if anim dot get bool is walking equals false. Is that the correct way? Maybe not. Get bool, no, I believe it's goes like that. There you go, I believe that's correct. We'll start with false. But wait a minute, I don't think we need to do that. I think we can just speak to the navmesh agent. So what I'm trying to do there is I'm saying if the boolean that we set is currently false, then in here do something. But I'm thinking if we have the if agent dot velocity, I think dot magnitude is greater than 0.1 f, then anim dot setBall so the two quote mark things, and is walking comma is true, right? So else copy and paste this into here and have that set to false. This we'll just get rid of for now. So now it's saying if the agent, meaning the navmesh agent, is moving quicker than 0.1, which is very, very, very slow, then set his boolean to is walking true, and if his else, so else means anything that's other than that, so meaning lesser than 0.1, then please set it to false. So let's just test that. Okay, so but we need to assign the animator. So, oh no, we don't, because we done it on void start, so we can just leave that alone. Alright, so if we play, hopefully now he should walk and then stop walking when he reaches his destination. Hopefully. There you go, he's walking and he's stopping. There you go. So you can see he's reached the anvil, but he's not facing the anvil. And remember, you can always just change the anvil position. You know, you might want it there instead, like a bit closer. But you can see he's not facing the actual anvil itself. So again, you could do coordinates, but I'm gonna rechange this into coordinates maybe later, because obviously I was having problems. So I'm gonna keep it variable based assigning and etc. So the anvil itself, we could just have the lookout option. However, I'm going to be using linear interpolation to make it look more nice. I mean, linear interpolation is my favourite thing. So what we'll do is check the rotation. We'll just make the rotation of the actual cube. So let me just check. Let me go to coding. Alright, so we need to have it when he reaches his destination. We could just have it trigger based, so if agent.destination, we could, let me just experiment here. If agent dot agent, let's put off, I believe it's like that. I think that's it there. We'll just keep it like that for now, and we'll have it so anvil position, there you go. So let's have, when he reaches his path, the transform. So this is vector 3 I'm doing now. Transform.position equals vector 3 dot lerp, open arguments, so the brackets, set the transform.position to the anvil position dot transform dot position, and have the time it takes, so time dot delta time. Oops. Time dot delta time. We'll just have that times by 2. So there. However, the thing about this is it's moving the location of this game object to the anvil position. But in our case, we want rotation, right? So this is useful if you want him to like kind of teleport towards the location, but in a way that makes it look smooth. So imagine, yeah, exactly like I just said, teleporting, but you can see him moving depending on how fast you want him to go. So if I put times by, I don't know, like whatever that is, 100,000, 10,000, you probably won't see him move. He'll literally feel like he teleported, like sci-fi. So if you have it like that, you'll see him slowly move there. So in our case, we're not going to be using vector 3. We are going to be doing, we'll say transform.rotation instead of position, and it will be quaternion dot lerp, and then again transform dot rotation, and then we're going to grab the, what is it, anvil pos dot transform dot rotation. Again the time, so time delta time times by 2. Okay, now that we have that, he should turn, but we have to also turn. In fact, we can find out now. So if I just test it. Just gonna clear the console, it's really annoying. Okay, so if we now watch him walk over again, he should turn when he gets to the area, but we don't know which way the cube is facing, so that's when we change it at runtime. Okay, so here we go. He's walking over, and he's got there. So if we now grab the cube and we turn it, you can see he's now turning. So no matter where I rotate the cube, he's always following it, but you can see he's nice and smoothly turning. I mean, we could make it faster if we want, but we want him to kind of look towards that way. I mean, that's nice, I think. And you can see he's not right next to the anvil, so what we can do is we can move that a bit forward, somewhere like that. And then what you do whilst you're actually in runtime, you go up to the transform, and you see the little cogwheel. You just click on that, you click copy component, then you click the play button to stop the game. Then you'll click it again, the cogwheel, but now you're not in runtime, and literally just paste component values and you'll see it moved. So if I undo and redo, you can see it's gone to where it was in runtime. You can see the coordinates up here are how we changed it in runtime. So now if we do that again and click play, hopefully he should land exactly like he was in runtime, but in the previous try. Okay, so he's walking over, he's reached his destination, and he's turned towards the anvil. There you go. So we can have that a bit faster, as it seems a bit, you know, slow. So if we want to get a bit more interesting, go back to coding, and we'll start making booleans. So we'll have, I'll comment out story. So this is the story of the blacksmith. Public ball at anvil, and what we're saying is, what we want to do here is, if at anvil, and just put the curly braces. So now he'll only ever do that if he's at the anvil. And what we'll do is we'll create like a trigger system to determine if he's at the anvil or not. So now that he's here, we want him to like have an animation of actually working on the anvil. So if we go back to the animator, and we create another empty state, or just new state, sorry, and we'll call this anvil working. And I don't know, for now we'll just put an attack animation in there or something, just to make it seem like he's busy. Or there you go, strong attack, and we'll have it from idle because he's not going to be walking and working. That this just doesn't make any sense at all. We'll create another boolean and we'll call this is working. On the arrow, we'll do like we did before, turn off exit time, and on the conditions we will have is working instead. So this little arrow will allow you to choose which is happening. So it's working. So if now we click play, you'll see, and then he's working on the anvil. He's more like punching, but that's the point, is they're just placeholder animations for now. And we'll have a transition back, turn off exit time, again is working, but we want it to be false. So that's true and that's false. So if you play, ching, and he's back to idle. Alright, let me just check if this is looped. Okay, it's not looped, and we probably don't want it to be looped. I mean, we do for the blacksmith obviously, but if it's being used in an actual combat state, it's going to be a bit of a mess. The coding seems the most difficult. I wouldn't say difficult. I would say you need to refer to like the documentations to actually get you on track. You know, if you search up linear interpolation, it will show you great examples of how to apply it. And if you look at navmesh agents, it will show you how to set the destination, such as agent.destination equals, you know, anvil position.transform.position, like I did. Alright, so if we just look for another animation, something that's looped, this is going to be really funny, but I'm thinking treading water. It's going to look really weird. Okay, yeah, there you go, that's him now working on the blacksmith on the anvil. So if we... Alright, so now is that anvil, when he lerps towards it, so we want to increase the speed, you know, to maybe times by 4. What we'll have now is we'll have anim.set, oh geez, not comma, anim dot set ball, Jesus Christ, anim.set ball, oh my god, anim.set ball is working, comma, true, there you go, is working to be set to true. So we'll give that a test. Alright, let's see what happens. I believe I've set everything correctly, so let's just go ahead and click play. Okay, he's walking over. He gets there, and nope, we haven't referenced something. Let me just check. So, Blacksmith. Let me check. These are rather weird. Sounds like I need to restart Unity, but let me just quickly check. What I'm going to do to be safe as well, I'm going to assign the animator on the actual inspector. That does sometimes randomly cause issues. So if I click play again, we'll see what changes. Oh, my bad. I know what's going on. Right, when he gets there, you'll notice he doesn't turn to it. That's because we haven't clicked at anvil. So if I click that now, you notice he's now turned towards the anvil and he's working on the anvil. What should I say? Swimming on the anvil. If I turn that off, nothing will happen at the moment because we haven't, you know, changed anything. Well, the ocean just came up here, but that's totally normal because this is just a debugging scene. As you can see, weird stuff goes down. Yeah, the video will be saved. It'll be saved. Just make sure you download it, so you can go through it and stuff. Yeah, the previous videos, I believe they delete after a few weeks. I think that's just Twitch's system, how they work. Right, let me just stop that. Alright, what we'll do now, with the blacksmith, we are going to add a capsule collider. We're going to change that to height of 1.8 to we're going to change the Y to 1 and the radius, ideally you should do it the same as an AVMOS agent, but yeah, it don't matter too much. And if we add a rigid body, so this is giving him physics, however we don't want him to have physics, so we are going to click is kinematic, so it doesn't do much. All we want is detection. We want it to detect if he's in a certain area. So what we need to do now is we need to, let's say we create a cube and we place it on the anvil. Now, you know what? We'll just click on the anvil itself. You know, that has a mesh collider. Let me think, what's the best solution here? No, we will go to the cube idea. And we'll set it right on the center, somewhere like that. We'll expand it. We'll place it like here. I was thinking to do it this way, but now I just thought there might be a more simple way. Yeah, no, forget that. Sorry, just ignore that. Is we have the if at anvil, but we have nothing to make it become true. So what I'm thinking is we have if we'll use like vector free distance. So if how do you do this again? Is it if vector free dot distance? There you go. Returns the distance between A and B. So if vector free distance of transform dot position, meaning this person. So effectively distance of this person and the at anvil dot transform dot trans oh the hell no sorry not at anvil anvil position dot transform dot position. How does this work again? Less than 5. Yeah, I think that's right. So we'll just have that is lesser than 1. And if that is the case, then at anvil equals true. Else so meaning if he's not within 1 meter of it, I think that works in meters, at anvil equals false. Right, and now we need to have an else for at anvil, and we want him to set the ball of his working so it's working to be false, and this will stop automatically, so that shouldn't matter, because this whole part here only works if the agent doesn't have a path left and if the anvil is on. You noticed when he reached the anvil and he didn't turn to it, and then when I clicked on the little tick, you noticed it then started working. Okay, so now we'll see if he automatically goes to it and automatically turns to it. So we don't want to manually set it, we want him to automatically do it. Scroll up. Okay, so you can see our anvil is not ticked, and let's see if it works. So if I play, that should automatically tick itself when he's within 1 meter of the anvil, or should I say the anvil pos, meaning the cube that we put. There you go, it ticked itself, and there you go, he's now working on the anvil. I mean, we can even put it a bit closer if we want to. like I said before, you know, you can always change the cube around anvil pos, so maybe he should be more like that, and he should be more over here, and more kind of like that. So if I now copy component, end it, paste component values, let's see if that looks any better. And if you think he starts doing the working on the anvil animation too early, you can always just change the distance. So we put it to 1 meter. We can always put it to 0.5 f or 0.1, whichever. There you go. He's reached it, and now he's working on it, and he's more closer to it. He's perfectly aligned to it. Yeah. Is the screen going black? I hope not. I'm hoping it's just you. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll have him doing 2 tasks. So I'm on the coding. I'm on the coding. I'm going to go to his story part again, and this time I'm going to create a public ball, and it's going to be at wood saw. I don't know. He's not actually going to be there, but you get what I mean. You can just have him doing 2 tasks. So at wood saw, and what we need to do now is we will create this duplicate it. And now we'll have that wood saw. And of course we need to create another one of the game objects. So we got anvil at the moment. Now we want wood saw pos. So on this part, instead of anvil position, we are going to have the wood saw pos. And we'll keep the boolean to it's working, that's fine. Although we could have him doing a soaring animation instead. But like I said, it's all placeholders. Right, right, so that's just making sure everything's correct. It's working, it's false. Okay, we want to copy that and we want to paste it, and we also want to change that to wood saw pos, so if it's lesser than 1, and at wood saw equals true, and same thing. Yeah, don't forget to put semicolons, these little thingies. Alright, so now if we go back to Unity, what we'll do is, give me a sec, we will copy and paste the anvil pos and drag it over to the wood saw. So somewhere like that and like that. And we kind of know the rotation is looking that way, so if we turn it now, so it's like that. And let's rename this to wood saw pos. Right, now what we want to do is we want to jump back up to the blacksmith. Let me just get rid of all of this because this is just, oh my goodness. Alright, we need to assign the wood saw pos. So drag that into there. Now what we do, this is the fun part, so instead of what should we do? Okay, yes, so we need to make a public I enumerator, and what that means is basically like a timer. So underneath a void update, it needs to be underneath the curly brace of the void update, create a public I enumerator, and we'll just call this work. We'll just call this working. Okay, we'll have a yield return new, wait for seconds, we'll have a random dot range. You know what, I'm going to keep it simple for you for now because I don't want you to get all confused and stuff. So what we'll do is we'll just have this to 10 seconds. What I was going to do, I was going to make it a random time between like 10 to 20 seconds, but for now we'll just make it 10 seconds. And what we'll do after 10 seconds, the agent destination design Jesus agent destination equals the wood saw dot transform dot position. I haven't even switched, have I? Okay, yeah, I didn't switch to Visual Studio, but all I did is I don't know if I already showed that, but I created a public bool at wood saw position. But I've created this public I enumerator, which is underneath the curly brace of the void update, I've made it so it takes 10 seconds until it runs this code here. So what's happening now is after 10 seconds, the agent.destination will go to woodsaw.pass.transform.position. And if agent has path, okay, yeah, that's cool. So now if we add that again, 10 seconds, we then want the agent.destination to equal the anvil pos.transform.position. Then what we want to do is we just want to do nice and easy start coroutine, which basically means start timer, and we're just going to write in the same function here, working, put arguments inside it, and then that's it. And then what that means is once it's done all of that, it will run again to 10 seconds and just keep on repeating. It will never end, unless this is here, you know, it just never ends. So let's just for now just test, see if, you know, it works, or see if anything happens. But what we don't have is we don't have anything starting the coroutine right now. So let's instead of agent destination, let's just put that there. So after 10 seconds, he will go to the woodsaw position. Let's see. So we'll test this in a sec. Okay, everything is assigned on the blacksmith, and let's find out what happens. Okay, so right now nothing's happening because it's probably on the 10-second timer. Oh, I've done something wrong. Hopefully he should begin walking over to the wood saw in any second. There we go. He's now reached the wood saw. He's turned towards it and he's working on it. Oh, he's swimming on it. Hopefully in the next 10 seconds he'll then walk over to the anvil and he'll begin working on it. Nope. Okay, so there you go. We have a problem there, which obviously isn't a massive problem, it's something simple. Then after the next 10 seconds he goes back to there and he starts working again. So best way to debug is we've got to think. He's at the wood thing, he's then walking over to the anvil, and the animation is not playing, so best thing to do is pause it and then to look at the blacksmith, look at his blacksmith code, and right now our anvil is ticked, so that's good. Now let's go to the animator, and we can see that here is working, is not ticked. It's currently stuck on idle. It doesn't want to go to this. To Unity. Here we go. Yeah, no, I think it's simple. Coding. So on the coding part, we know that he gets to the anvil and he's not having that set to true. So over here we can see if at anvil equals true, if he's 1 meter away from anvil pos, if he's at anvil pos, agent doesn't have a path. It doesn't seem to be setting it. That's because our else statement, I believe. So if we set that to, if we get rid of the else statements, so now what we'll do is we'll create up here, oh no, we'll just add in here, if the agent is ever walking, then we'll set the boolean of is working to be false. So no matter what, whenever he walks, it'll always set it to false. Okay, back to Unity. Just stop that. Alright, let's see what happens this time. Maybe it's got worse, or maybe it's got better. I don't know. We'll find out. Check the blacksmith. We'll watch the blacksmith script. Let's click play. Okay, so he's standing still. Okay, he's now walking over to the wood bench, or woodworks, whatever it is. He's now working on it. He's now walking over to the anvil. He's now working on it. There you go, so it's already fixed. And you can see at anvil ticked itself. As soon as he stops working on it, at anvil unticks itself. And then there you go, look, he's now working on two things. He's now pretty much a story to the town. And imagine you've got NPCs everywhere and they're all doing stuff like this. It makes the player feel more immersed. You know, if it's just an empty town like this and he's walking around, the player, I personally would uninstall the game within the first 5 minutes or something. Like who wants to run around in an empty town? You know, in here, this little combat area, training ground, we can have people, you know, fighting each other with swords, and yeah, this is what I mean. So it's as simple as this. I know it probably didn't seem as simple for you, but you know, I've put the code, I've put cubes and stuff around, you know, anvil pos, anvil wood saw. All you need to do now really is just copy and paste my script and just change a few things, tweak a few things, and you'll learn from it. I mean, that's how I learned. I copied pros scripts and I just changed a few things around. It made me understand it, you know, for the last 8 years, and now I can write it myself because of how much I've learned from others and stuff. Okay, so you can see he's just going to keep on doing that. So if we go back to coding, the thing I was talking about is instead of 10 seconds, you can write in here random dot range, then open arguments in there, and we'll put 10 seconds to 30 seconds. Copy and paste it here. So now it could take between 10 and, so it could take 22 seconds until he does that, you know, or it could take 11 seconds until he does the next part or whatever. So experiment. Just click play. Okay, so pretty much counting 1, 2, 3, 4. This could go on for a while. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There you go. So 18 seconds he decided to finally go to the woodbench. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There you go. So 15 seconds he decided to go to the anvil. So from here, what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There you go. So I counted 1 second before those, so that technically that was 10 seconds. So because we haven't actually you can see we haven't put 9 seconds. You know, we made it minimum 10 seconds, maximum 30 seconds. So I think I'll conclude it there. I hope that gave you a good example of how to use AI, how to give them little tasks to do, and yeah, there's so much you can do with it. You saw this is some basic things. You can make it become advanced. Let me where is it? Yeah, that's what I was just about to say about the player interrupting the NPC. In our case, what we'll have there is, so let me just show you. So let's imagine there's a public bool is busy. So if is busy, all you have to do, I believe, is agent dot nav. No, sorry, not dot nav. Literally just what was it? Agent dot. There's a pause. There's literally. I believe it's that. That is indeed obsolete, so that I believe there's a new way. Is stopped. Get set. Okay. I haven't learned this new is stopped. I'm just going to stick to my obsolete way. So imagine you press F on the NPC. What that will do is it then set his boolean to busy, and what that will do, that will stop him from moving. And what you could do, because we won't want that, so we just want it to go straight into the destination, we will have it so if he's ever busy, how should we say this? Yeah, so agent.stop, and we want it to resume, but we only want it to resume if, so let me make it if is busy. So if he's not busy, that exclamation mark in front of is busy means is not, pretty much. So if he's not busy, you can do it like that, or you can do it like this, 2 equal signs and then false. But it's more clean to just put an exclamation mark in front of it instead of doing it like that. And then when he's not busy, then agent.resume. So he resumes his path. Wow, that's obsolete as well. They've changed the nav mesh then. I haven't worked on nav mesh in a bit, so I'm a bit rusty with it. Let me just check. So we can have it maybe, you know, when a player presses an input key, or, you know, if the player presses the exit button on the dialogue. Oh, you know, that's better actually. I don't like this idea because it's messy and it's in a void update, which means it's constantly happening, which could, you know, decrease the performance of the game. So I think it'd be better to just create functions for it. So imagine void stop. No, we'll just put void busy. Right, but we want it to be public because we wanna grab this, you know, later on or something. And then in here, literally just agent.stop. So now, when the player presses F on that person, it will come to this script and it will run this function busy. So it's telling the agent, hey, can you please stop? And we want the, let me just check, can we pause coroutines? I don't think we can actually pause coroutines. I mean, there might be a way, but I would say just stop all coroutines. Right? Then we want to create another function underneath it. Public void not busy. Oh, and here we'll have agent.resume. Well, I was just thinking about this actually. We don't necessarily need, I mean, it might be good to have that, but I don't think we need it, just because when he does resume his path, he's still going to go to the place, and we've made it so that the cubes will tell him what to do, meaning will he turn towards it and start working, because remember we set if it's lesser than 1 meter. Or so let's say, yeah, that's agent.resume. Let's put arguments. It's obsolete, so it should change it for us. I don't know, we'll just leave it like that for now. I'll change it later or something. I just don't want to put in the new API, whatever they've put, just because I don't really know how it is at the moment. Okay, so let me think. How can we test this? Alright, alright, for now we'll just make it a boolean. I mean, I'm just putting this here temporary, so we'll just call this temp. And we'll put here if temp. Oh. So if temp becomes true, then run the busy function, but this is constantly running the busy function, so it might become a bit laggy, but I doubt it. But you don't want to do it like this. This is just because later on we put the player and then it's nice and easy to put in. So, and if temp is not active, then oh god, then not busy, run the not busy function. Can they be like active when player is in range? Yeah, just use a trigger. So we could even do it like just like this, you know. We could just have a vector-free distance between the blacksmith and the player is less than 2, then activate busy or something, you know, or hey, get out of my way, or you know, you could put whatever you want. Let's test this. Okay, so I've clicked play. Let's go to the blacksmith. Okay, so he's over there. When he starts walking over to the next place, I'm going to click temp. Okay, so the player walks in front of him, and then we set random range to like 30, so it could take a few seconds. And now the player walks in front of his face as he's walking. Is he gonna walk yet? Oh my god. I probably shouldn't have set the range to 30 seconds. Surely it's been more than 30 seconds. Or maybe I messed up something in the code. Let me just check. Oh, he really is not walking over, is he? Yeah, alright, cool. Right, what have I done? Busy. Temp. Right, I'm just going to change this for now back to, we'll just put 4 seconds. And we'll change that to 4 seconds. Nah, we'll create another public pool and call this 10B or something. It's not good to have it like that for testing purposes. So 10B, something like that. Alright, so let's test this. So in 4 seconds he should walk over, and I'm going to click temp to see if he stops moving on that path. Okay, here we go, and there you go. I clicked temp and he decided to stop, which means he could be speaking to the player or something. If I now click temp B, meaning he's not busy, the player's left him, he's now going back to his destination. Or he's now moving to that destination. Okay, he's moving back, and the player, no, he's, so, because I'm pressing them both at the same time, it's being a bit weird. So, right now, yeah, let's say he's busy with the player, and now the player's left him alone, he's going back to do his work. There you go, so every 4 seconds, he is doing his thing. Every 4 seconds starting from when he changes destination. So technically, now 1, 2, 3, 4, bang. So if I now say he's busy again, he's busy. Player's now speaking to him. Hey, you're on asshole, blah 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 blah. And now he's going back to work. So cool. I'm gonna stop it there. I hope that sums it up. Remember to save the video and stuff so you can go through it. Sorry if I was a bit slow on some parts. I'm a bit rusty with artificial intelligence and stuff now and then. And yeah, have fun with it, I guess.